this video, we're going to see a Joomla extension that allows you to copy the settings for your extension in one site to another site. Hey there, Joomla fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Joomla fan too. Thanks for tuning in to Watch Me Work live stream number 68 here on the Basic Joomla YouTube tutorials channel. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your support of this channel. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and ring the bell to get notifications of new live streams and things that happen on the channel. Also, head on over to basicjoomla.com/giveaways. Sign up for the newsletter and you'll be automatically entered into the monthly giveaway to win some great Joomla prizes. All right, so you've heard his name a couple of times here on live streams. Mark DeChevre often waxes eloquent about Peter and things that he's done in Joomla. And so I'm going to just skip. You can actually see him. There he is up there, a little box right now. Peter Martin, he has two companies, DB8.eu and Data2.eu. And Options Manager is one of his extensions. So if I remember how to change this, there we go. Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Good to have you here today. You're in the Netherlands.
That's right.
And for people that are watching on a replay, this is March the 25th. And the reason I tell you the date this time is because, Peter, what's happening in your country right now with COVID-19? Where are you guys at?
Actually, the term coronavirus is more common here. And, well, we have not really a lockdown in our country, but we are very limited in going out. Most of the all the restaurants and pubs are closed. Shops that have essential stuff are still open, and you can go outside with only 2 people at once, and you have to keep a distance of 1.5 meters from other people. And you are not allowed to do any meetings. So my Joomla user group meeting, my Linux user group meeting, my Open Coffee meeting that I all help organizing, they are all cancelled, or we are going to do it online.
Okay. Yeah, as a lot of people are. So you're not under a mandatory lockdown yet. The same thing here in British Columbia where I am, though I've not checked any news. This morning I woke up, I thought, oh, I'm not going to read about any of this stuff till later on. I actually considered maybe I'll just have a day where I just don't read anything about it and just take it off, because it's that ongoing stress constantly of hearing about it. Now, you are at your office. You said you came to the office because it's quieter. So why is it noisy at your house?
I have 2 children. The youngest one is 7, and he can make a lot of noise. So
Good.
Therefore, it's better to be here at the moment.
Good. All right. Well, thanks for coming on today. I'm really excited to see this extension. It was Ruud 2 weeks ago that mentioned your extension, and I think I heard about it a while ago. But when he mentioned it, I thought, oh, that sounds really cool, and I really started to understand the possibilities of it for managing Joomla sites. So and right now it's super easy to book live streams with people because they're scheduled. They're just at home, right? So it's just time. So go ahead.
Is it Ruud from the Netherlands who's doing this firewall extension?
Yes. I didn't say his last name because it escapes me. Ruud van, is it Luton?
Van Lent, maybe, or so.
Oh, Ruud van Lent. Ruud. See, and I'm getting good at saying his name, Ruud. Yeah, I've totally blanked on his last name, but yeah, OCH Simple Firewall. So.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, go ahead and share your screen and take it away.
Okay. Oh, this is not a good one. Here, I just installed a really nice website. It's called Site 1.
Oh, now, hold on. I've messed something up here. I've got you. There we go.
Okay. So I have this really nice website called Site 1. And I can also log in the administrator with the username and password. So now I'm in my website, and if you look at the front end, you can see things like written by Joomla, category and categorized,
Oh, no.
date.
Oh, did you? I think you maybe shared the window instead of the screen.
Ah,
So here, just a sec. I will stop your sharing, and then just go share again, but pick the window this time.
um, and what is it?
Down at the bottom bar, the green share, and then just pick the screen instead of a like a tabbed window. There we go. Yeah.
Can you see me? Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I go, can you still see it?
Yeah.
The
Now we
backend
see.
now?
Yeah. And if you switch to your other, before we were looking at your file directory. So.
Ah, okay. So this is okay now.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
this is the backend, and this is the front end. And when you don't want all these kinds of information, there are different ways to disable it. You can do it on article level, but then you have to do it for all the articles, which is not really nice. You can do it in the menu items, but you can also set the global configuration for this item. And in this case, it's about articles, which is content. And if I go to the articles, then there is a button that says options here on the top right. Mm-hmm. Can you see it?
Yep.
When I click it, you can say, I would like to not to see the article info, I would not to see the category, etc. All these kinds of settings, which really a hassle. Every time when you create a website, you have to do it. And I have been doing it for 11 years or so, since 2005. And then I was thinking about, yeah, this is stupid. I should look at what I have to do in the database or something. And then I looked into how this kind of information is stored. And I noticed that it's all done almost in the extensions table. So I created a component for myself to manage this kind of tasks for me. So what I do, I will just save this now for the moment. And I will go to the front end and I will refresh. And then you will see I have less information here. Mm-hmm. So in order to make it more easy for myself, I decided to create a component. And let's install the component. The component is called Options Manager. And when it's installed...
So you've just got... Now you're installing it from... Oh, did you install it from an upload there?
From what?
Did you install it through a file upload?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I used the file upload and I had the file already here on my local computer.
All right.
That's faster. So I have a new item, Options Manager, a new component. When I... Oh, no.
Hey, welcome to my stream. That's what happens to me. So if anybody who's new to Joomla is watching this, what Peter did was he had the extension downloaded to his computer, and then he uploaded the file to it. And so I think a lot of us know how to do that. But if you're just following along and think, oh, wait, what happened? I got lost there. Then that's what he did there. And don't feel bad, Peter, because stuff is always breaking on me when I do my live streams. And especially when you go and install a brand new site to set up something, it's like, I was already, I didn't, oh no. So.
Yes.
Now you are Dutch, so this is much more of a crisis for you than it is for me when it happens to me. But.
Oh no. That's no problem. So I have an older version. So I have to go back to the drawing board because one of the tables is not created.
Okay.
So let's go back to the sites. Then I have an older version.
All right. While you sort that.
Now it works. Now it works.
Okay, great.
No, still.
Let's see here. Let's see if I can switch to me. Where did I go? I must be on here somewhere. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. All right, I stopped this. You keep working away there. I'm going to tell a couple of people a few things that are happening. You know, last week.
Just fixed it.
Oh, did you? Oh, well, all I had to do was stop the share. All right, go ahead and share that screen again, and I can do my announcements later on.
Okay.
That's all we need to do was for me to stop the sharing. And
yeah, it's the same with if people have problems and they call me, then the problems are fixed already.
Yeah.
So this is the backend of the component. And if I go to components, then I can see all the components that are on this website and that have options. But it's not only that components can have options, it's also that plugins can have options, and modules and templates. So all these kinds of things, you can export the options that you have set, and you can import them on another site on a later date.
Okay.
So, for instance, one of the options that I have are the options for content. So if I import options for that, and I have some profiles and I have some component profiles, for instance, the content profile, I open it.
Okay, now what we can't see on the screen there was that you're choosing the file and going to its location on your computer.
Yes.
So I think you're still sharing a tab and not your whole screen.
Oh. If I do this, can you see my files?
No.
Then it's wrong again.
That's all right. So I'll stop that. Now go pick share, and it might actually say screen. Let's see. Oh yeah, it'll say screen 1 or screen 2 instead of the.
It says desktop 1, whiteboard, options manager.
Yeah, so desktop 1 is probably your screen.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought that I would share you.
And now,
so if I do like this, now you can see my files.
Yes, there's your files. That's what was missing.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So now I have the right one. So what you can see, I just successfully imported content options
into the site. Yeah.
Yes. Let's do the same for another extension. So then you can see how it works. Options, and let's do the contact.
Okay.
And import it. So now I also have the contact imported here, contacts and articles. But if I go to the front end and I do refresh, nothing happens. It's still the same. So when you import it, you have to select it first. And now the options for articles are set that I have just imported. So now you don't see that anymore.
Nice.
So this is just one thing. And the other thing is like, okay, maybe I have templates. And in the template, I have live site and I have also a develop site. And I want to have the develop site a different backend than the other one. So I can just import, and I can do any import that I like. And in this case, I already created one that is green or gray.
Okay.
Would you like gray or green?
Oh, let's go with green. There's enough gray in the world right now.
Green. Okay. So I just imported it, and extension templates. Hold on. So now it's imported.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, because there's a difference between components and plugins and modules and template styles. So if I select this template style, and you can see that everything is green already.
Okay.
Now. So what I just did a couple of things. One of the things was I went to the settings of the template to advanced, and I just changed all these settings.
Okay.
And I also have in a folder called DB8, I added my DB8 logo.
Oh, okay.
So if I would open a new browser window, I take Firefox for this other window. and I go to this address, you can see that it's green with my logo here.
Nice.
And it was just like I had to put this already in my site. So I did it manually. I uploaded my image, my logo to a new file, a new folder called DB8, so I can see it easily. But all these settings here, like all the color numbers, but also the logo, the information was in the file itself. So if I go to my profiles, and it's a profile of the template, and in this case it was this JSON file, I can open it in Mousepad. And what you can see here is the sidebar color, the header color, etc., but also the images are all just in a configuration file that I just imported in my site.
Nice.
There's something else.
So the advantage I see to that right away is because we've talked before in about having just a core or a startup Joomla site that is what has the settings that you want, and starting out with that as the base site for each project that you go along with. But here you can just the one downside of that is that if you've got a lot of extensions that you use over and over again, it's a lot weightier thing to manage. But if with this method, you can just have the settings that you like for some of the extensions, because you don't use all the extensions in every project. So then you end up uninstalling things.
Yeah. Well, I've used Akiba Backup to create a sort of my own distribution with all the settings and all the extensions that I use regularly.
Yeah.
But the downside is when you install it, when you restore a backup somewhere, you have to update everything, and it's not like you start with nothing. And I prefer to start with a clean, empty base and just add everything that I need. So therefore, I use this, and it's also nice if you have two websites and you want to reuse stuff on other websites. Like for instance, what I like here, it says latest actions and recently added articles. But what I would like here is a sort of module that says maybe how big the images should be when people upload it. So I have documentation, or maybe my phone number, so my customer can call me easily. So if I go back to Options Manager, I created, this is because there is a small change in the database. How it works. So if I go to modules, you can see all the modules that are here, administrator modules and site modules. And I also can import multiple models at the same time. So let's go to profiles, modules. I have backend cPanel module.
Okay.
And if I go in my file manager, I go again to the same folder, modules, and it's the cPanel. When I open it, you can see there are two files in it.
Oh, okay.
Mod custom 1, mod custom 2. And I just open it. And it will insert two new modules, which are backend modules. So if I go to extensions, modules, I can select the administrator modules. Then I have this, I know these are two custom modules. So I say to custom, these are the modules. I will open a new folder, a new tab. They are not here yet because there is some funky thing in it. You have to open it once and save it.
Okay.
Open it and save it. And now when I go back to my cPanel, I have here DB8, so people can call me, and also documentation. So you also have to change the order of those to show them up at the screen. So documentation and then questions. Oh, never mind. So now when people log in, they can see here my logo, and here they can see, here can see the documentation.
Nice.
So it's easy when you create some of these modules, you can just export them for new websites. So I have a couple of extensions that I use very often, like JCE editor.
Mm-hmm.
And JCE editor is this one.
Okay. So are you like actually installing JCE editor right now?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I just installed it, and when I go to JCE editor, you can see there is an options button here.
Yeah.
When you click it, it has some options like general options and update options. There's an update key, which is empty, so I cannot update this extension.
Okay.
But if I go to Options Manager,
Dashboard, yeah.
yeah, it's because the XML file has been changed, so the main menu item does not work, but I will fix it.
Don't worry. It's like me hiking up a small hill, looking up at someone way up the mountain, and criticizing them for the odd stumble.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter where I choose. I can click import somewhere. I go to profiles. There's a component profile of JCE editor. I open it. Now you can see that JCE is also imported, and I can select it. Oh yeah. And when I go back to components, JCE editor, and I go to options, you can see that I have an update key now.
Your update key is the same as mine. Mine's all dots.
Yeah, actually it's squares, but I changed it for this presentation to dots. So that is one thing. The other thing is if I go to the front end and I think, oh no, the last settings they were better than what I imported. You just go back to Options Manager. Yeah, this is annoying. And then I can say components. Okay, let's revert. Let's go back to the previous settings. And if I go to the front page, then you will have the previous settings back here.
Okay.
So this is just a sort of thing. Just you can switch between it. But what happens if you go to content articles, options, and I say show intro, no, I show link titles, no, and I do save. Now the previous settings and the important settings are not like the settings that are currently in the website. So if I go back, you can get an error. So you can see that the global options have been changed, and they are not the same as the previous Joomla options or the imported options.
Oh.
So it's a sort of extra security measure for that.
Nice. Just to avoid that moment, the 2 hours where you're pulling your hair out trying to figure out why something's not changing.
Yeah. Well, to continue with your remark, sometimes when you do stuff with the general options and you look at your website and things don't change like you suppose they are supposed to change. So I also have an option called menu options. And when you click it, you can see all the settings that are in menu items. So the homepage has 22 global options available. And let's go to the front page. So content, menus, main menu. Let's go to the front page. The options, these are 22 different options that you can set. And if you go back, what you can see here, that 22 options are available, and 22 are just the same as global because they are set as global.
Okay.
So everything is global, but what if I do I would like to show it, save. So now this is different from the global settings, and if I go back, you can see that one of the options is the same as the global options, but it is set. And if I would change something in the global options, this one would stay. So this would maybe cause some questions. And here I have something with the category block that there is an override of the global options. So the menu options has 3 different fields that are different from the global options.
Okay.
So this is a sort of visual. If you run into problems, you can easily see if they are the same or different from.
And what is the blue one there again? It's
The blue one is an override. So that's okay.
Like a
overrides are. I'm sorry.
No, like a template override, or
No, I mean it's different from the global options.
oh, I see. Okay.
Let's go back. Let's go to the. For instance, if I would say like I don't want to show the title because it says use global show. So the general options, the global options are show.
Yeah.
And if I say hide, then it's different from the global options.
Okay.
So now I did it on purpose. Now it should be blue here because I did it on purpose.
Okay.
No, this is a good demo. No, I don't know.
Okay, now it's working in that one example though.
Yeah, I can switch it on, but I'm not sure why it's not working. I have to look at that as well. So okay, 2 issues I have to solve.
Well, that's okay. Good.
Yeah,
we're making progress today. We're helping out.
Yeah. So that was JC editor. Another extension I use a lot is Akiba backup.
Right. Yeah.
Akiba backup. Open. Oh yeah. So what happened? I tried to install Akiba Backup JSON, which is the profile for my option manager. It's not Akiba Backup itself.
Okay.
So I have to go to the Akiba Backup. Open. Now it's installed, and if I go to options, oh yeah, dashboard, and then I go to components. I have Akiba Backup here, and I can use any of those. I can just choose this one, doesn't really matter. Go to components, Akiba Backup. Now you can see that Akiba Backup has been set, and I can select it. And if I go to Akiba Backup in the back end, I have my, if I go to options,
I have all your settings.
The live update, it's already there. Oh, yeah.
I don't think it fills the whole screen anyways, does it? The whole field?
I'm sorry?
I don't think that what you showed there was the whole field. I think there's characters missing.
I hope so. Otherwise, I have to change something. Is it possible to blur it? Can you blur it?
Yes. Actually, today it's not too bad to do that because... Let me just see. How far are we into the stream here? Can someone type in chat what time period that is? Yeah, I can blur it.
90-30 or something.
Okay.
Anyway.
No, yeah, I'll go back and blur that out.
Cheers.
I'll blur it out if it's showing the whole thing. If it's missing some of the end, then it's not a problem.
Yeah, if you can blur it out anyway, it's better.
Okay.
I think. So anyway,
thanks, Spreadsheet.
That's Akiba Backup. So another extension I use a lot is RSForm Pro. RSForm Pro. And why doesn't it? I tried to install RSForm Pro, but there's a problem with the extension. I go to another site for a second. So always. So let's install RS Form Pro. Is this one? Yeah, there's something funky with the other side.
Yeah.
So RS Form Pro is a component for creating forms, but this is a component that uses configuration here.
Mm-hmm.
If I can click it, then all this configuration is stored in its own table. So if you go to options, then there are no options for this component because they are set in another table. So this, I cannot export these, unfortunately.
Okay.
So install options. Okay, and then components, and I get this. This is, I think, since Joomla 3.7 or 3.8 or something that they changed something, and the menu reference is not okay. Options view is so. I just showed you how I just set some backend stuff, but
Yep.
I also have some modules for the front end. So if I go to the front end, this is the front end,
Mm-hmm.
and I might have some special modules. Here it says search, and here it says login form. So what I can do, I can import modules in profiles, modules, and it's the login and the search that I want to change.
All right. So you're doing two at the same time.
Let's do breadcrumbs as well, like make it 3.
Okay.
So I import 3 files. They are all imported, but with modules there is something weird, because modules, you can see I have 2 search modules now, I have 2 breadcrumbs and 2 login forms.
Okay.
But what you can see is the search, it's here to none, because you have another table which is called menu underscore modules menu. There's a table where the module and the menus are connected. And when you import modules, you don't know to which menus it should be added. So you have to change it yourself. Like I have to say menu assignment on all pages, save and close.
Okay.
And if I go to the front end, you can see I have now 2. I have the search and I have find.
Okay.
Because the new one that I just imported, that's this one, I changed the words search to find here.
Okay.
So if you want to make these kinds of small changes, you do it like this. And the old module, you just unpublish it. The same with breadcrumbs. This is my new breadcrumbs. And I have to assign it to all the pages. And then on the front page, now you can see that I have 2 breadcrumbs. One says you are here, and the other doesn't say it because I don't like the you are here.
Yeah.
And if you click about us, you just see about us, and then the other one says you are here, home, about us. So
Cool.
this is that I just imported.
So modules you can import with all the settings, but you still have to assign
Yes.
to the menu.
Yes.
Okay.
And with template, it's the same. You also have to, when you import it, you have to activate it because Joomla doesn't know it otherwise. And let's do the other one as well.
You mean you have to open it and save it?
I will show you. So login form.
Oh, you mean publish it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the login form. This is the other. The imported one. I have some information in it that I want to show to people when I come on the website. And the old one, yeah, it's a bit difficult to see. It's the 16, it's this one. So if I go to the front end, you can see login form, only authorized users, and also the one behind it.
Okay.
So the pre and the post. So these kinds of changes, you can make it. You can export those. put them in some sort of folders. And when you want to set up a website, you just import the ones that you want. And your question was like, you just enable it? Yes. Oh yeah. So for instance, the templates, I have 4 different styles.
Yeah.
And I can just import one, which is called the gray one of ISIS.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have 2 templates, but here you can't do anything with it. You have to go to the templates and select administrate. And now you can see I have 3 different templates. This one is the imported one.
Yeah.
And I have to set it as default.
Okay.
Now I have the gray one, the backend, with gray-green.
Nice.
And you can see here's my logo missing because I have not put it here in this website.
Yeah. Okay. You haven't uploaded the image yet.
Yeah.
And that you do manually.
Yeah, that's I do manually because yeah, it's just one file. Maybe I have a couple of files that I just put in a special folder.
Yeah. And you could always just put all of those images that are core, like that's standard to what you do, in a zip file and install it in File Manager, and they'd all go to the right place.
Yeah, that's a good point. And also, when you have set up your whole website, you can also select everything and say, I would like to have a batch export. And now it has already an export all the params. And if I open it, you can see that I have exported all my settings of all the components on this page.
Okay, because I was going to ask because before you had a package of a couple, but you did the batch export and that put them all together. Does that do it as a zip file?
Yeah, it's a zip file. And let's assume that I do some stuff in the website first. Otherwise, so options, and I will do like hide. I hide everything.
Yeah.
So now I'm still clicking, but I have to do it once. So I hide everything. Save. So these are the article options. And let's go to the contact options because it also has a lot of options. So I choose options, and here I choose all these kinds of things, icons. I would like to have text. Hide, category, hide. So this, if you ever use content and contact,
yeah,
it's a lot of clicking if you want to get it right for your website.
Yes, and you're forever taking the page type or page name off of the article or something like that.
Yes.
And it's like, oh man, I can't remember where that is again.
Yeah. So I did now too, and the last one is the banners. So let's do no. History, no, I don't want versions. Permissions is not in this extension because it's not a table. So now I have 3 different settings for those.
Mm-hmm.
I go to Options Manager. Oh yeah, of course. Running gag for this show. It's the banners, the contacts, and the articles. These I all created myself.
Yeah.
And I do batch export, and it's just one file here, batch export. If I go to the front end, you can see that there's no information here. Contact us, there's nothing here. And if I go to another site, for instance, site 3, site 3 has a lot of information, even a component called single contact, which is here.
Yeah.
If I administrator, so now I'm logged in, always. Components. So this is just a website with default Joomla content. And I install Options Manager. And I get the error again because the menu
You saw it coming this time.
Yeah, oh, yeah. There's more. Okay, so I go to components, and I can do a batch import, choose files, and in this case, it's in my download folder. It's this one, because it was the latest one. And if I open it, import it, I will have 3 different settings with banners, contacts, and articles. If I go to the front end, you can see
Single
single
contact.
article. Single article looks like this. Single contact looks like this. And yeah, the banners, well, yeah, I don't know where to find the banners. But anyway, if I go to the options manager, I can say changed articles. And if I do it like this, then everything is gone here.
Nice.
If I go to the contacts, I go here, it looks different. Yeah, because I switched everything off. So yeah, I hope that this gives a sort of idea how to change stuff.
Yeah.
And it's my extension just exports the stuff that is in the options of your extensions.
So in the case of RS form, there were no options to transfer, and so that wouldn't show up in. Does that show up in the list of components, even though there's no options, or does that one just not show up?
I go to site 2. I have to switch to with and without options.
Oh, okay.
And then it should show everything, but you don't. Yeah, it's no use. I mean, you can't export anything of it.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's just just for people that you go and look for it and suddenly you can't find it, it's not working. It's good to keep in the back of your head. Oh, this might be an extension that doesn't store the options that way.
Yeah. So system information, the component, it doesn't have options.
Okay.
The Ajax interface, the COM Ajax, doesn't have options. So you can see there are no options for that.
Okay.
Content is also not. Yeah.
Good. So that's and if people have questions, go ahead, put them in chat. I'll just see. Bretsy's there. Chuck, hello, Chuck and Mary. Brian is there, and we have some other people that are lurking in the background, which is great. So if you have questions, Mary says, "Wow, that's going to be very useful." So she's liking what she sees. Let's say with Ivor's wondering, does it work for admin tools for Makiba?
Let's find out. We have admin tools. I don't have I have only the Akiba Backup Pro, but I don't have Akiba tools, admin tools. So I just download it. I go to, let's go to the version 3, components, manage, install. And it should be in the downloads, and it's called admin tools.
Yeah.
Open. It's installed. If I go to admin tools, I have options. I hope. Yes, you have minimum request time. Let's make it 100. Maximum work time, also 100. Exclude folders, excluded files. Yeah, just a couple of settings.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to components, options manager. Oh yeah.
You should instead of view equals dashboard, you should change that so it's view equals oh yeah.
Yeah. The admin tools is here, so I can export the stuff. And if I look at the settings, it's I set the file threshold hold to 100. I did the file filter for robots.txt.
Yeah.
So if I create a new website, or I do just version 2, administrator, So let's install Akiba Backup. Akiba Admin Tools also here. Admin Tools, open. If I go to Component Admin Tools and I go to Options, you can see it's 2 and 5 and no excluded folders and files.
Yeah.
I will open a new and I go to Component Options Manager and then Dashboard. So if I look to Components, you can see, well, I will only want to see the one with options. And Admin Tools is here. Import Admin Tools. This is the one I just exported. Open. Let's enable the new important. Go back. I refresh. And now it has logs, robots. So it works with Admin Tools as well.
Good. Now, you showed the example of putting in your update license for JCE. Now, when we're working on other people's sites and they're paying them, then under open source, we can use our pro memberships on those sites. But if someone were to say, I don't want to pay for that anymore, I'm just going to manage my own site, and we want to go in and take out our codes, is there a way to... I know that you could turn it back to the default, but someone could go in there and turn it back to what's imported. So can you delete what's imported, or do you override it with something that just doesn't have that, or do you just manually go in and take the number out?
You can do it like that. However, if you still have the options manager in the website, and maybe you can switch back to the previous option and maybe it had the ID as well. So options manager is mostly for just installing websites or to export settings to other websites. But when you are done and when your customer doesn't use it probably, so you can remove it afterwards. And then the table will also be removed. And in the table, the settings are temporarily stored in a special table of this extension.
But that would remove all the other custom things you've done, right?
What custom things?
All the other settings. So if you have certain settings and then you import them, but then you remove the extension.
Okay. Okay. So if I go to Options Manager, if I go to Options Manager and I go to Components, the options here, the options that are currently set, are not in my extension anymore. They are in my extension for reference.
Oh, okay.
But they are actually in Joomla's database table called extensions, because the extensions have all information about your extensions that you have installed.
Okay.
So if you remove this one, then they are the latest settings that you have imported and activated are still in your extensions table.
Okay.
The same goes for modules and templates. When you have imported templates or modules options, those are not stored in my component. Those are immediately imported in the module table or the template table, and you can just assign it or enable them to certain module positions.
Okay. So you would still have to manually remove the update code then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or what you could do, you could import a profile from JCE without an ID.
Okay. So and so you can override when you've already inputted?
Yes, I can import a new one.
Okay.
If I choose, for instance, admin tools, I'm now here in, this is site 2, this is site 3, site 2, and I go to inside 2 to admin tools. So in admin tools, admin tools, this one is, so now the admin tools are like what I just imported. with logs. And yeah, let's do it like this.
That's not going to break anything.
I hope not. So I've saved it. So if I export those and I go back to site number 2 where I just have admin tools, I can import, this is the first one without the garbage, and I can set it. Oh, it's already there.
Yeah.
I can also say, okay, let's show the second one, and I open it. And now it's another version. So let's go to admin tools, options. So this was the first. And if I just imported the one with the garbage, and if I enable it, and I look again, I refresh, and the garbage should be there. Yeah.
Okay.
So just the last one, what you imported, and the previous settings. You can switch between those.
Okay. And so you said so users aren't going to be using this, so you can just uninstall it if they're stop working on, if you're not handling their site. And if then later on they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, it was such a mistake. Please come back and work on my site," and we reinstall it, does it pick up seeing the changes, or is it just sees everything as we left it, and anything new that you import would be a change?
No, it sees it doesn't see the changes.
Okay.
Because it looks at the settings that are currently there.
Yeah.
So these settings here are the ones that are really currently there. These are the settings that are imported. And here you can see if there is a difference between the one that were first before you started and when it changed, or when you imported something and it changed, then yeah, it will notify you that the global options have been changed.
Okay. Now there was something that that you had to save to activate. What was that a module? Like you had to open it and save it.
Yeah, the modules
For Joomla.
Yes.
Now, I was just curious. Is there a way to put an extra button on there that says for activate that people click instead of opening and closing, or is that messing around with the core too much?
No, I can. I think I can do that. I mean, it should be another button that assigns it to all the menus, but then it will be visible on all the menus.
Yeah. Okay. So you open it up and then you pick and then save it and activate it. So you don't want that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that is really neat.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you DB8.com.
No, not .com.
Oh, sorry, .eu. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry for being so North American.
Don't mind.
Yeah, Chuck says here a real time saver. Yes. I never get the let me just where are we here? View options. We'll go to the two screens here. I never get to the point where having my startup Joomla site is together enough, because usually when I start working on it, it's like, okay, I'll start and there's 4 of the 10 extensions I want to install. Oh, but you know what? I've got to get going on this project, so I'll finish that later. Now, all of our sites, we all have those settings there, and we can start to say, oh, I like it on this site, and this is good, and move over and just slowly work on the collection of it.
Yeah.
Ivor asked about the configuration file in admin tools. I think that he's referring to admin tools. You can export settings and then import them. But those would just be the settings that are already in there when you make a collection, using your extension. So
no.
Oh.
Oh yeah, those I think yes.
Yeah.
If they are configured in the options,
okay,
then it's yes. If it's like your htaccess file that it can generate, then no, because it's not in the options.
Okay. So okay. So if those settings. Okay.
And some other people ask me, yeah, what about articles? Or what about users? Well, it's not in the options, so it's not there. But
Yeah.
there are other extensions like Roland Dahlmulder has an extension called ROCSV Improved. It's for moving content and also for like for shops content. And he also has something called RO users, where you can import and export users really easily. So there's also no use for me putting it in because there are other
Yeah.
great extensions.
Good. Well, thanks for showing that to us. Let's see if anyone else has any other questions in chat there. And I'll just mention last week we had a just because Zoom call on Thursday morning at 10 a.m., which is, I'm going to add 7, that's 2, 5. No, yeah, add 7. What is that? I think it's 1700 UTC. And it's actually just a Zoom call for people to get together and hang out. So in this time of social distancing, I'm going to, I did put a link to that in the Slack group that we have. I also put it on, I think I went out on the social media, but let me just bring up that link for everyone. And what we're experimenting with too, because we were looking at Calendly a while ago, is now I've got to find a different screen here. Let's see here. Let's see what pops up here. Yeah, there we go. Always scared what comes up on the screen live, passwords or logins or stuff like that. Let's see. All right. My account. So I set up a group booking in Calendly. And so what I will do is, this is an experiment for us to see, for me to see how that works. Otherwise, I'll share the Zoom link with everybody for that. But hello, Bibby, just coming in to chat there. All right, so if you want to get in on that call, give that a try tomorrow. We'll just hang out and talk. We had a nice time last week, so I thought I actually have them scheduled for every Thursday until like the end of June, which I suspect is, I don't know, that's like, is that 8 weeks from now? That's all of May and into June. So anyways, I booked them till the end of June just to see how this thing lasts. And but that's an opportunity for us to get together. Mary says she's going to start using this today. It will save her loads of time. Talking about your extension.
Cool.
So yeah, that is very cool. Yeah, I'm already excited to get it and to start organizing myself a little bit and yeah, because it's so maddening. Oh my goodness, trying to find all those settings. Every site I start out and I go to the home page and it says home and it's like, oh, I can't remember where I changed that. It's just that mental block. Good. All right. Well, Peter, we'll have to check out some of your extensions, other extensions. You so you have the data2.eu. You've got the. Do you want to tell us what I asked you before we went live? But what does data2.eu do?
Data2.eu is an online tool. It's not a Joomla tool. It's just an online software as a service that you can use to create a GDPR processing index. So everybody, all companies in Europe need to comply with the GDPR. And one of the requirements is that you have to have documentation about all the processes that you have in your organization, where you collect information, personal information, and you have to write down what you do with it. So what kind of information do you ask? What kind of sensitive data does it contain? What's the what's the legal basis of obtaining the information? How long will you store it? Who will you share it with, like your IT provider, etc.? and you have to do it for all your processes. So if you have like names, because you send invoices, then you have already personal data.
Hmm.
If you have a website with IP addresses that you collect because it's in your log file, then you have also personal data because it's considered personal data. And of course, you can start with a pen and a paper or with an Excel sheet to collect all the information and to document it like that. It's no
Yeah.
problem. There is no legal requirement in how you register it. Just you have to register it. And what we did with Data2 is an online tool where you get all kinds of examples. So you get a sort of form, and there it says, okay, what kind of information do you like? Maybe you have a newsletter. Then you can click on the example of newsletter, and then
Hmm.
all the fields are already pre-filled in. So it's much easier to create your GDPR documentation. It's
Nice.
just documentation. It's nothing else.
Yeah, and safe. So you've done all the legal heavy lifting to get all the wording and everything, and people can just go through and
Well,
select that.
it's not really the legal wording. I mean, we are not creating contracts.
Yeah.
If you have an IT provider that can see your data, then you have to create a contract with them. But we are not doing that.
Okay.
We are just registering. I mean, you are registering your own processes in our tool.
Okay.
That's it. But it saves so much time.
Excellent. All right. What are your isolation tips for everybody?
Be cheerful. Have a lot of toilet paper. Uh, yeah, I mean, one of the things, if you have children, then um, make sure that they have contacts with their friends using online tools.
Yeah.
You can use Zoom, Skype. There is something called, I think, Jitsu or something, Jitsu Meet. Um, these kinds of tools you can use to have, yeah, just face-to-face communication with the people you normally play with. For me, I'm hired by a Perfect Web Team for a day in the week,
Uh-huh.
and we have in the morning an online meetup where we just tell everybody in their group what you are doing at the moment, what kind of issues there are open for you, and how to solve it. These kind of things. So yeah, we arrange the meetings also for that. And today I worked with another Joomla developer on performance of his website, and we did it online. Now we use Skype, but it doesn't really matter which tool you have. Just
Yeah.
stay in
Now,
contact. Just what you're doing now.
the nice thing about Zoom is that, and there's different ways to do this, but if someone is sharing their screen with you, you can request control and you can actually move their mouse around and do stuff on their screen. So that's kind of handy collaborating as well. So
Okay, sort of team viewer.
yeah, that like TeamViewer. I use Splashtop in my business because it actually has a listener that will run on the remote computer, so I can go in at night and do things while they're asleep, or I can, or actually, there's some people who just struggle with run this program. Give you what number? Where? Oh, I don't see the tab, so it's just like I just put the listener on and say, oh, let's go on, and okay, I'm looking at your computer and that, but.
So actually, you could have done my demonstration on my computer using Zoom.
If I knew what I was doing, yes. And then
Yeah.
and then it would have been me saying, "Oh yeah," and then typing that
Yeah, yeah,
in.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time. Ivor says, "Drink a Corona beer, maybe you get immune." Yeah, I think it just
I,
makes you.
I I prefer IPA beer
Oh,
fast
okay.
beer, but not today. It's just work days, so
The only thing you get from drinking beer eventually is fat and stupid. I think, from what I can see from some examples, but that's
depends on the quantity, of course.
exactly. I was going to say that depends on how much that you drink.
Yeah.
Well, Peter, thanks very much for coming over to the office and showing us that. That was really great, and it's going to save us all a bunch of time. And I really, again, love seeing extensions when someone says, "Oh, you know what? This I have to program something because this is stupid. I don't want to do it this way anymore." So, Chuck's saying thanks, and other people can be saying thanks in chat here. So wonderful.
You're
Well,
welcome.
we'll wrap it up there. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support of this channel. And if you made it to the end and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Let me find my caboose here that shows the stream is over. Until the next time, enjoy your Joomla sites and God bless.